couple of the other ministers there on that list and on that screen were the ones who harbored bin Laden, because they were in the Taliban government back in the 90s. Evidently, the Taliban's friends and facilitators in Qatar convinced them that the inauguration on 9/11 was just a little too much, and the Taliban has delayed, but the sentiment was still there. So that brings us to a fundamental question. Are we safer tonight as we go to bed than we were 20 years ago tonight? Congressman Mark Green served in both Afghanistan and Iraq as a flight surgeon in the Army Special Operations Helicopter Squadron, now on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Good to see you, sir, as always. Thank you. Simple question. Are we safer tonight 20 years ago or not?
Absolutely not. And I think most Americans realize that. They're at the 100,000-foot view, we have the capability to deter terrorist attacks. The real question is, do we have the will? And with this president, his failure in this withdrawal from Afghanistan, his failure to confront the terrorists whom you just mentioned are in the Taliban government. They won't even call them terrorists. It's questionable whether or not this government, this president, has the will to protect Americans. The southern border,
I'm interested, though, in sort of this view of whether or not the Taliban is going to be the government that the White House hopes they are, or the government that they were in the past. Holly McKay is doing some incredible reporting from Afghanistan and went to a school, if you will, that the Taliban teaches new suicide bombers. We have some of her reporting. Take a listen.
Still at a beautiful, amazing place, but it seems very clear to me things are closed, people are staying in their homes, but I haven't witnessed any fighting, and the Taliban do seem to have full control of the region, as far as I can see.
As far as she can see, the question would be this: after she visited the school that trains suicide bombers, they openly admit this, if you're a reasonable, rational government in the international world, why do you need suicide bombers?
Well, that question answers itself, Leland. I mean, the real issue is you've got a group of people who made an agreement with the United States and completely disregarded the agreement when Biden became president. This was supposed to be a power-sharing agreement with the Afghan government. They basically overthrew them, violating the agreement. Said they'd protect us and allowed suicide bombers into the Kabul, perimeter. I mean, they haven't fulfilled a single promise. And the crazies in our State Department, the crazy leadership of our State Department and our president somehow think that they're, born again people, new people. They're not. They're the same crazies that protected Al-Qaeda and supported terrorists flying aircraft into, the Twin Towers. This is insane.
You have to wonder if the Haqqani guys are just simply the new Osama bin Laden. President Biden, we understand, this just came out in the past couple of minutes, is heading to New York tomorrow to commemorate 9/11, but he will not speak. Instead, he released a video, 6 minutes and 23 seconds in length. We've taken some of the parts of it. We're going to play that for you and get your reaction. Take a listen.
The 9/11 generation is stepping up to serve and protect in the face of terror, to get those terrorists who are responsible, to show everyone seeking to do harm to America that we will hunt you down and we will make you pay. That will never stop. Yet we also witness the darker forces of human nature: fear and anger, resentment and violence against Muslim Americans, true and faithful followers of a peaceful religion. We saw a national unity bend.
Thoughts?
I'm appalled that he would even say those words. This is a moment to reflect on the men and women who died that day at the hands of the Islamic jihadist terrorists. To sit here and to blame us for responses is just, it's infuriating and insulting. How about those firemen? How about those police who ran to that burning building? Let's talk about those guys. All right. I just am.
Yeah, he did. In fairness, he did say that in part of his video. He made the other comment, which is, I think, what you were referring to. Real quick, I got about 20 seconds left. How long is the runway, you think, to get clear-eyed on who the Taliban is and deal with them before a group can use Afghanistan once again to launch an attack on the American homeland?
So I think there are many people who are clear-eyed. They know what their capability is. what their desire is to kill Americans, and they know our southern border is wide open. So there are people who recognize the issue. There are just other people in the administration who are blind or don't care, and that's Blinken and Joe Biden.
All right, Congressman Mark Green, we appreciate you joining us on a Friday. I know you've got a lot of ceremonies to be at tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Leland.
All right. Meanwhile, speaking of our enemies, we have seen communist China publicly capitalizing on the U.S. chaotic and, frankly, embarrassing withdrawal in Afghanistan. Joe Biden and President Xi spoke for 90 minutes yesterday into the evening. According to